Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Our next matchup pits Isurus Gaming up against the Gigabyte Marines, who have secured their spot in round 2 of the play-ins. So with this game not necessarily meaning anything for the standings, it becomes about pride and about what you want to show, right? And so my question to you guys is as always, what is the proper strategy, or what should a team do when looking ahead, to future rounds of a tournament, knowing they still have to show something here?
There's a couple different ways you can approach it. One is just don't take it seriously at all. Just go out there, have fun. You pick whatever you want. Maybe you can confuse the enemies that you'll be playing in the later rounds by drafting something that's not really in your wheelhouse, but you can kind of play like, oh yeah, let's run a Twitch comp and like something crazy. And then when you really don't intend to play that ever.
Right, but if it works, all of a sudden TSM has to consider it next champion select.
Right, so there's obviously that option. There's the other approach where just play what you've played so far. Get the practice in, treat it like a real game, be serious, but you don't have to show something new.
And again, that's what Isurus said even in their interview, right? They want to prove that they can play on the stage, so they'll be probably taking this seriously. It does go more towards the Gigabyte Marines, and how deep are they going to go? Is it the supermassive, just kill everybody, fight all the time route, or is it the rampage, actually try and win like Isurus?
All right, Vidius is probably hoping for his all-animal composition. One you can only guess what we'll see in the next 30 seconds. It's time to send it over to the casters to get us into the game.
Thank you very much, Dash. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we are actually already in champion select for this game. Gigabyte Marines, they're ready. They're like, you know what? No downtime. Back into the next game.
I mean, they're feeling good, right? Like,
Yeah.
they've now secured themselves a spot. They will be joining Supermassive to go up against the powerhouses of the Flash Wolves or the Team Solo Mid. But before we get there, we've got some more fun games. And now the question is, will they be tryhard? Will they be fun? Will they be a merry batch of silliness?
Ooh. All right, so Gigabyte Marines is saying, okay, you might also have something that can play some tricks on us, so the Kled gets taken out.
There was some talk about Kled coming in. I am expecting some Kled to be more prevalent during the main event. But for the time being, he will be taken off the board from the side of the Gigabyte Marines. I wonder, if you were the Gigabyte Marines, would you want to finish 6-0, or would you not care?
It'd be 5, right?
I mean, they could do 5-0, sure. But I'm wondering, like, if you want to try hard and get the perfect series, or whether or not you just want to have a bit of fun and be like, we don't care if we lose some games here and there.
Yeah, I think they go 6-0.
Yeah,
That's the statement, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you want to do at that point.
Well,
overall, yeah, you're right, 6-0. That would actually, coming out of that, dominating in the group, would feel very good, as you said, to go up against TSM or the Flash Wolves. That Fizz being respected out there from Optimus. Lulu is the pickup, though. It's going to be a kindless composition. We might see the Lee Sin and an 80 carry getting grabbed up here for Gigabyte Marines.
Ooh, yes. Now the question is, do they take away the Caitlyn? Or do they allow Isurus Gaming to have it? Because remember that Ivern is also available, so you could just do the Ivern Caitlyn on this rotation if you so wanted to.
Slay was loving those arrows last game. He's going to stick with him this game. I don't blame him. It was a good bot lane that came out of the side of the Gigabyte Marines, and then the cross-map arrows were very, very effective. There it is, the Tristana.
The classic.
Hovering back and forth. Haven't actually seen too much Malzahar play.
All right, so we are looking at, it seems to be some pretty standard compositions. Levi going to be able to get himself the early jungle. I'm expecting now you could go for the Ivern Caitlyn rotation here. The very standard protect the 80 carry composition. And perhaps Gigabyte Marines are realizing how prevalent this composition is and how strong it is. So they're allowing it to go through so you can start practicing and getting more experience against it, right? I feel like that's a legitimate strategy to start improving more.
Not much to lose with those losses here, as they've locked in that spot already. What is it going to be? Possibly putting Jin back in the mix. All right, so they go with a rather immobile AD carry against a team that can already jump and lock you down.
Now, do not pick Ivern here. I do not like the Ivern Jin.
Ivern Kate would have been great, right? You already have that passive that people always talk about in the brush. The synergy is just there already, and Root Caller puts you in auto range, so bing, bang, boom. Thank you very much. Could be the Galio, though. And they're looking for a very much so protect the AD carry composition.
Yeah, very fascinating when the Jin is the AD carry. Usually he does all of his damage from like a mile away, right? Like that's what his ultimate's all about, the W. However, I have heard that AD Carry Jin more recently have been shifting their playstyle with the change to lethality to be more of a team fighter, right? So you actually go back to the Essence Reaver kind of itemization. You get yourself the early Infinity Edge, and so that your crits certainly are big.
Yeah. Quite big. It's all about getting positioning for that last shot, and with a team like Galio and Lulu, that positioning will be that much easier. Renekton is locked in as we enter into the second ban phase, so Stark gets another tanky bruiser in that top. Somebody he can do some damage with. Somebody he can start fights with. What do they decide to ban first, though? Looking that there is no mid laners yet.
I think that
They
you
don't
start to
ban.
pinch away
I
the...
believe.
Oh,
Gigabyte Marines also did this on day 2, where they had possibly missed a ban. It was confirmed that they missed it previously, and it
All right.
might happen again.
well, I feel like they could have banned out junglers, like Lee Sin, Kha'Zix. Maybe you can ban away the Ivern as well. Instead, they missed it. Always going to be rough.
Yeah. Also throws the other team for a loop, right? You're expecting
Whoa!
a ban, and then you're expecting something to happen.
Have we got some kind of a deal going on here where there is no second ban?
Interesting.
Very
All right, you
interesting.
don't ban, we don't ban. The time is at 15 seconds.
The
You can
mind
still
games.
let it run out.
This is next level, Riv. Will we see a final no ban?
They're talking about it. 2 seconds, one. All right.
Ah, they've gone for the ban.
Nautilus gets locked in. And will there be a final ban? 24 seconds here from Isurus Gaming.
All right, what's left available?
Like
Syndra's
calling each other
open.
buffs. Or buffs.
Ari's open as well. Oriana's open. Oh, okay, it's going to be the standard Syndra. Pretty meta. Take it off the board.
Pretty meta after the leave-ups. I like it. Spicing things up. The game doesn't start just from picks. It's always the bans.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes you don't ban. Right? I don't think that's
I don't know.
the way you usually play it. But they're going to go ahead and stretch those champion pools a little bit more, but also play the what are you going to give up for what are we going to get game.
So Malzahar being picked up.
Malzahar.
Rather fascinating, given that Lulu's often considered a strong pick into the Malzahar, especially given that Malzahar has received even more nerfs on recent
Yeah.
patches. So, Gigabyte Marines, this is a bit of a new pick for them. But you still have a lot of the strength, which is that every time you try to dive onto the back line, you have that peel, you have not as powerful laning as you once did before. So we'll have to see how things work out for them in the bottom half.
For safety. Kindless, this is your game to carry for Isurus Gaming. A lot of weight on his shoulders here. Newbie puts a little bit more damage into the composition, but other than that, you're looking at the DPS from those two and hoping for a shockwave from M.
Now, mid laners, will Optimus go for something like a Zed? Or will he stick to the more conventional Ari, perhaps? Often you want those kind of assassins going into the Oriana. Feel it would work out nicely with the composition as well, the 1-3-1. Instead, they're going to go for the roaming mid laner, the Rock Weaver. Stone Weaver, rather. And you know, in our game of Rock, Paper, Scissors, Robot, Bird, in fact, Rock actually beats Robot. So it's now been confirmed.
We'll have to see how they play it. A lot of the Orianas within this tournament, I haven't seen a lot of ball leaving, where you just kind of put it in a position for the fight, let the fight continue, and then you can move it for a hit. It's been very hectic. There's a lot of movement to the ball, and it's almost harder to place. The pull from behind always takes longer. Situations to try and avoid. We will see a lot of this is going to be shields for Kindless, shields for QQ more, as arrows will be flying in once again from Slay, a team that can jump right onto you, coming from Gigabyte Marines.
I'm excited to see what Gigabyte Marines can pull out. They have a lot of pick, they have a lot of roam, very more early game focused, especially with the Renekton and the Elise that you have. I wonder whether we'll see the roaming death squad of Levi and Archie. Like, so much picking power, especially around the mid lane. That's where you can see M picking himself up. The cleanse as well. But it's all about the team fight for Isurus Gaming.
Yep.
The hero's entrance looking to be the hero for Isurus. If they can definitely get an upset onto the Gigabyte Marines, it'll really be a big confidence booster for them.
And I have just been informed The bans were banned. Those first set of second phase were Ziggs and Rumble. So you can see that Ziggs probably coming from Isurus over to Slay, banning him out, and the Rumble being banned out against Girol on his top side. I'm sorry, Pride, not Girol. So we will be getting into game 3 here, day 4 of the MSI play-ins. Gigabyte Marines looking to take it to 5-0 with the possibility of 6-0 on the day. Now up against Isurus Gaming.
Level 1, level 1, level 1.
Isn't that level 3?
But now it's the level 1 play.
Full silence. Shh. And the ward went down. So they saw him coming in. Optimus may be able to weave a few rocks in.
Gigabyte.
Oh, the stun on the back line. Oh, the caboose is going to get tagged. It's always scary to be the last one out. Newbie should be the focus. Stark's actually trying to get other ones. No, he won't trade. Here comes the heal in from Slay. And they may do that to a few more members. Do they want QQ more? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 flashes blown to start.
Oh, they're going again!
The party begins. The auto, along with the command move, comes in. There were more summoners as well. Those were just the flashes. What a way to start.
Oh, the level 1 back and forth. My word. Right, so let's see. Isurus Gaming, they want to get a bit of deep vision down. They were not expecting the 5-man collapse from the Gigabyte Marines. Kinless had to burn his flash very early on. And Newbie, he was the main source of focus from the side of the Gigabyte Marines. And at this point, you think, all right, the fight's over, that we're done. A lot of flashes burned to get a couple extra kills. But then Stark, he does not respect Emp, who's lying in wait ready. And then the flash auto Q.
That's what we like to see. Also coming in a lane, Newbie's gonna step up here, knows he can get that Thunderlords down. And we're going to have a bit of an advantage to Kindless here in lane. However, 2 assists over to Slay, so this level 2 is going to be very iffy which way it's going to go. Dead minions to that grenade, amplifying it just slightly.
I just love the fact that when you come into laning phase with 0 summoner spells, because the traditional matchup just completely changes, right? Like, look, Slay and Archie, they haven't had the opportunity to go back to base, but Kindless and Newbie, they died, so they can reset. They've got the full health, they're now back in the wave, and they didn't lose, I don't believe, any experience at all. So they're still having a lot of control. They're able to get themselves to level 2, and so they actually have a health advantage. And now Levi, he's going for the play.
Finds QQ more. That's going to be an up and a down blast if he's able to hit it. Feels like he doesn't have the situation right away with mid leaving. Also, that deadly flourish coming just over his shoulder. Speaking about those summoner spells on the bot side, it will be Archie's exhaust. Just a few seconds. Everything else is basically equal for them, so a fight may come if they have that discrepancy in time. Oop. QQ more. Just out of range, but he is going to have to give up that red buff for now. Smite's up too. He's just going to go back, get the item, and make that run.
So we've had a fair share of action already. The laning phase hasn't changed much either. You can see both the mid laners trading, the top laners pushing as well. And this is a matchup that we very rarely get to see, but often you would expect the Renekton to actually be a pretty strong pick into Pride.
Yeah.
But the fact that he has so much trading power with his passive in the queue means that he's actually effectively pushing the Renekton back, and he might get a kill.
Minions?
There's no flashes, or if they can't flash in.
Oh, he was just pulling it for Levi. I was gonna say the play will be there, but how much can you bait? And a hook, line, and sinker for a Stark there. Beautifully done. Oh, one more, the hit from Newbie. Kindless stays alive. Newbie now on the chase. Kill number 2 coming in for him.
Hey!
The E. Not much exhaust is gonna do for the abilities.
Oh, kills across the board. 6 at 4 minutes. Sure, the Gigabyte Marines get themselves a kill in the top half, but Isurus Gaming, they answer, they win the 2v2.
That's what needed to happen for this Jhin lane as well. The ultimates, when he does open up, need to be powerful. If Gigabyte Marines is not respecting the curtain call, they're going to get run over. Let's see it again.
And you can see, remember that Slay and Archie had already invested so much because they couldn't go back to base. They already came into the lane with a health disadvantage, and then the all-in power of Isurus Gaming, not what you would traditionally expect. But they took advantage of the cooldowns that were just used from Archie, the fact that Slay and Archie didn't have the mana, but now the summoner spells are coming back up, Riv. Now we get to see more fighting, but more stuff.
Yeah, we saw Archie pull that Malzahar into the Lulu lane as well. They already had seen what the composition was going to be. moving him over the work ground. A very nice hit with the cocoon, but he's going to repel right onto him. The fight damage is now going to QQ more. Levi left very, very low. Flashes out, going to live. No red buff refresh for anybody on this. Optimus working some more ground as Archie comes up. The hit forward, and he bounces him back. Now it's Newbie in a 3v1. Not looking good. And here comes Levi once again. With a sliver of health to come up with a kill. Top lane fights as well as Pride goes down. And Kindless with the deadly flourish roam does find himself. One kill on Optimus.
Oh, and I don't think the action's over just yet, Riv, because we have a 3-man unit moving towards the bottom lane.
Repel's going to be back up. Levi to take the first damage here. The actual hit goes to Malefic Visions. Archie's going to be the tank. Now Levi, the repel's out. Turret aggro disengaged. Another kill for Gigabyte Marine.
Oh, everything going in the way of Gigabyte Marines. They finally get themselves more control. They've extended the kill lead. And while all that action is happening in the bottom, look at Stark. He goes to the 1v1 against Pride. It looks like he's just about to lose it, but then he gets the stun combined with the heal.
The just over 50% call for the extra healing.
Holy moly, that was close. This is a bloodbath.
This is a bloodbath. We are doubling the kills for the amount of time on the Rift right now. And the gold really isn't moving that much because they are trading back and forth. The lanes are still getting their CS because they're pushing each other out to come back at the same time. It's going to be interesting when the breakpoint hits and somebody actually takes control.
And look at Optimus, he's hanging around. He has his ulti. Will he build a wall?
So they don't see too much out of that. He is going to weave one right down behind the turret. Bounces Kindless into it. They don't have much control, though, with the amount of minions there. Oh, he has bounced past the minions, though. Another dive towards the bot side. Deja vu for Gigabyte Marines with 4 in the bot lane.
Oh, it's like a disco down here because everyone is partying. Gigabyte Marines, they're going to pick themselves up that first tower of the game. And it's just unrelenting pressure. This is what we saw from them in their game versus Lion Gaming.
It's an instant rinse and repeat. Usually you see that on a flash, not game to game. The teleport was from Stark was even there. The only person missing was Archie because he was zoning. That was still the 5-man bot play. We saw it twice in a row now, and Gigabyte Marines, which is said, when's the game going to go back or forth? It goes all the way in favor of Gigabyte Marines swiftly.
Oh, man. And look at Levi, 6-0-2.
Yep.
He's well on his way to completing that Magi Soul Stealer. Please build a Magi's, Levi. You know you want to. You're in a prime position to do so.
Almost 10 already.
Now, Isurus Gaming, they'll get themselves a bit more gold back on the map, taking down this top tower, but a lot of damage has been done in the bottom half. Oh, no, look, Gigabyte Marines, they're not done.
The hit in the exhaust to make sure he stays in range, and a last spider bite. As he sinks his fangs into Kindless, we wondered what would happen with the immobile AD carry, and he is being tracked down.
Oh, he's being camped, Riv. The Gigabyte Marines have pitched a tent, and they have gone out on a lovely weekend in the forest. And unfortunately for Kindless, he is the target. Now Pride getting locked up.
Arrow to Pride, he does have to disengage. Nobody's in front. Actually, ults. I'm sorry, that's not an ult. Flash to get his Q in. Pretty lackluster ult if you can just laugh. And now it's janitorial duty for Isurus Gaming here. Clean up the bot lane. But for the AD carry and support to still be in the bot lane means they don't have any movement to create their own plays. They're working with only a few members on the map. And they gotta wait for Gigabyte Marines to make a mistake. And they're far from it right now.
I just love the fact that 80 carries have 52 farm at 9 minutes. If we were tracking the CSD or the CS per minute, it would be heavily skewed right now, Riv. However, the kills would be slightly inflated, as we have certainly had a lot of action. Really enjoy these kind of games, and now Gigabyte Marines, they've returned a little bit more to their style.
Yes.
Not what we saw from them on day 1, but it seems to be a reoccurring pattern for them on day 2, where they get this lead and they are just relentless with what they do with it.
Looks like we have Gigabyte Marines resetting a bit. Able to see now Isurus Gaming members in just about every lane. Now they can conduct a new experiment. It's just going to be one to send Stark to the bot side. Soak up these minions here. They might actually go onto Emp in the mid lane without seeing too much pressure there. And Ward's being behind. One time after another, Stark continues to bait his lane into what looks like a losing fight, and Levi is right in his back pocket.
an element of irony as a hero's entrance is used to run away from a fight. But Bride will get away with his life.
Oh, he is saying, my team needs me.
Yeah, over there, away from you two. Will be the Ocean Drake being picked up for the Gigabyte Marines. Pressure continues. Their main focus will likely be this mid lane turret. Now the cleanse is up for M.
Yeah.
But I don't think that'll stop the Gigabyte Marines for some reason.
So he says no. There wasn't even a wall to keep them away from the turret. He drops it immediately. And all these defensive wards, you can see the flow of the game just by the vision on the map. Isurus Gaming not even feeling comfortable to protect anything past their red buff, past their blue buff. And Gigabyte Marines already starting to inject wards in the side of Isurus Gaming's jungle. Right there, they can see Stark and Archie trying to make a play. And they're just going to head around towards that top side. Nicely done. So Isurus able to stave off a few things, but it's still going to be coming fast. Levi and the team has not kind of cared that if there's turrets there in their sieges, that would be late.
The 1-3-1 now largely being set up by the Gigabyte Marines. They have the Talia and go off to a side lane. Morella Nomicon being picked up by Optimus. He's feeling pretty confident. You can also, interesting that they're actually moving Stark to the top. All right, okay, so they're moving Stark to the top side. He has the TP, and then they're just going to send Optimus to be down bot. I don't think they're too worried about Pride into Optimus because he'll primarily just control waves. Keep him pushed, and that means that they can look to try and make some plays around the middle lane. But it is difficult to take down that turret because of the Orianna. And not be able to pick this one up as well.
Yeah. And uncontested, not having hard engage is just kind of crushing Isurus Gaming right now. Opening up with the curtain call is just going to allow Gigabyte Marines to walk around. We said it was good that Kindless was getting kills early, but they have fallen off and turned into 4 deaths. So the curtain call can probably just be face tanked here by a majority of members on the side of Gigabyte.
Yeah, again, it's like the example that you used in the previous game, right? They're about 3 fights behind right now, I would argue, for Isurus Gaming. They really need the Gigabyte Marines to make a lot of mistakes, but this is the situation the Gigabyte Marines were in the game just prior to this one, where they have a good lead, but it becomes even harder now to try and push it.
You almost have a lead too fast. You're not powerful enough to get to these second-tier turrets. You guys don't have enough wards, enough sweepers to make sure you're safe. You almost have to slow the game down, according to you. Oh, alley-ooped himself as he gets the seismic shove into a bit of that rock throw from Optimus. Flash was used, but a lot was gained, and they're going to be able to grab more in mid.
The cross-map play, and let's see if Archie can make a play of his own.
F gets locked up, lying in wait. Again, Vision tells the story. If Archie can sit in the jungle that long, it means Isurus Gaming has lost too much control. And Gigabyte Marines continue to get kills on single members. Another one here onto Pride, and the cannon wave coming into the mid lane. It is happening perfectly for Gigabyte Marines right now.
Optimus landing knockup after knockup, using this Talia to find picks all over the map. This is the kind of Talia play I've been wanting to see for such a long time, because it is beautiful. The way in which he's always utilizing his passive to swiftly move around the map, work with his teammates to find these picks, and they may have just found another.
And this is the situation of seeing a few of those fights that they can almost lose, but then come out on top of. Flashing forward is Slay. We've seen it before, and he may get the kills he wants. That little minion might have just saved Newbie.
Oh, Slay!
Shockwave comes in, and Slay with a flash heal gets himself into a bad situation. But Gigabyte Marines feels okay, probably telling Slay, calm down. But look what we're getting out of this.
He had blood in his eyes, Rave. He wanted those kills, but I feel like it clouded his vision just a little
He says,
bit.
I am not a support AD carry. That will be a 1-1-8, but it becomes a 0-2-8. Oh, man.
Oh, here we go. Another TP.
Where will they go? The Q out. Everything is in defense here for Isurus Gaming, and it's so easy to take the fight from Gigabyte Marines' view if they see that these potential hits, the stops, the engages are done. Let's see what happened here to start this one off.
So this is where Gigabyte Marines, they are getting a little greedy now. They feel that, hey, you know, we have such a big gold lead, we can stick around with half our health bars. They're probably sitting on a lot of gold that they're not spending. The turnaround here was what they shouldn't have done. They should have just disengaged. And then Slay thinks, well, I've committed now. I may as well keep going. As every good AD carry should. But it does cost him his life, unfortunately for him. He now has the Blade of the Ruin King. which is great. But he doesn't have any kills yet, so he's slacking in terms of the contribution that the rest of his team is applying.
There you go, Vedius. The Magi's has been...
There it is! He has become enlightened.
they even know it. Coming out of the base, they're like, eyes on Levi. He is about to tell some stories. He has the book. That's a dead slate. These are the plays that ISG needs to make.
Oh, yeah.
And it's going to be very hard for them to find because Gigabyte Marines, just this last 30 seconds, they haven't been on the side of ISG. So they made the play as soon as they could.
They punished the fact that Slay had no flash. They took advantage of the fact that he is solo in the middle lane, doesn't have his support there to help him out. And also that summoner spells are like never up in this game, so they know that if they make that play happen, the response from the Gigabyte Marines will not be as easy as they would have liked.
Oh, just missed the shove. That would have been a kill for sure onto Pride. He has been very hard up for itemizing anything, and he's been recipeing things together with the Merge Treads really being his first main item to stay alive from Optimus. Great games, twice in a row for Optimus now as he continues to help carry the team. Levi as well. The Lee Sin game was just as impeccable as this. 7-0-4 now on Elise.
Levi really has been quite the performer for the Gigabyte Marines. There was a strong case for him on day one where a lot of hype was being surrounded. In particular, the duo between Levi and Optimus. I feel like both of them really have been standout performers. And in fairness to Slay and Archie, they've always been considered as the masterminds behind the team. You know, the more intellectuals that are very much around building the team compositions and playing a lane that's not necessarily mechanically demanding, but is very much about setting up the play, providing the utility and enabling the team. Thinking back to like that Ziggs bottom lane that they ran, like, you know, very much about farming and sieging rather than going for the Lucian outplay of being an individual superstar. Because, I mean, they have the players for that, right?
Absolutely, and that's the mind of Archie, a name you've definitely heard, been around for a very long time, has understood the game through many metas, and dude, like you said, has the ability to kind of voice a lot of the strategic plays from that bot lane in different scenarios with that Ziggs, with something else. Throw a little flavor in there, and right now, they are really spicing things up. Just an instant ultimate, and no longer in this world. That is Newbie going down. You pick the Lulu so you can defensively save people, but they don't even have a chance to act on Gigabyte Marines plays. Curtain call here, you can see only tickling the members of Gigabyte Marines.
Here comes the wall, but
That's
Archie...
more than a tickle there. Archie gets himself taken down. You sing someone's praises and you give him the caster curse. Oh, the hit onto Levi throws him into the wall. Nice placement, actually. They can go right back for the kill. He's towards the top side, but Stark and Optimus are going crazy. Pride and Emperor forced to chase out of this fight. Levi got himself to safety and dodged and juked out. Now they're going to split. Can they make it out alive? Scrying just gives them a bit of vision. And Slay will have arrow up, and half the time he should be able to finish the chase first. Volley will be out of the way. What do they get out of this? Does not look like lanes are being pushed, but that minion wave will have to be absorbed in bot.
They should be able to get this mid tower.
Oh, you're right.
Super low. Gigabyte Marines, really nice sidestep from Levi and Archie in that brush. They avoided the glitter lance, so he had no idea that they were actually in there, and they were able to set up this bait now. This is just ISG trying to do their best to get a return play. Don't want to punish Archie for walking the greedy way through the jungle. But then Gigabyte Marines, they're so strong at this point in the game. They feel confident they can force this dive. With the shockwave only hitting onto Levi, that's not enough to deter Optimus and Stark just diving down onto this turret and continuing with that onslaught through the rest of ISG's team.
Trying for the catches. 10,000 gold before 20 minutes, though. One of the biggest leads we've really ever seen. And Leandri's being finished up. Titanics and second items before we're even seeing a second one here in the favor of ISG. And Newbie went down in the beginning of that fight. I was going to say he just came back up, but lives through this one, does get the ult off, and that's what it takes.
Slay is not allowed to kill this game, Riv. Every time he gets close, ISG just deny it from him. 0-3-9 right now. He's just desperate. He wants to be part of the cool kids club, you know? Like, you've got the 7-1-5 Optimus, the 8-0 Levi, and then you've got Slay with the same scoreline as support. Worse, in fact, than his support.
That was the other game. Everybody had a bit of love the other game. Now Optimus said, all right, I'm going to carry this one. And Levi's going to pick up 9-0-5. Levi's going to be able to stop this one. QQ really wants to fight. They should be able to lock him down as well. It's Slay just off to the side. The Glitter Lance and Shield comes down for the stop. Levi should have in about 5 seconds that repel, but pathed out is Kindless. Newbie over the wall. Seismic shove back as well, hitting it in a beautiful attack coming in. Kindless lives as he almost burns down, but Optimus is just showing almost perfect range and ability use here from the Taliyah play.
And it will result in a Baron for the Gigabyte Marines in a similar fashion to what they did in their game 1 of the day. They're looking to try and beat their fastest game time record. Slay also gets a kill, he's feeling good. And now 22 stacks on the Magi for Levi. We get to see the 1v1 kill for Stark. 2-level advantage. I don't think this is even fair anymore, Riv. Crocodile versus Gargoyle. Stark just utilizing the Dominus power to assert his dominance over his lane opponent.
Yeah, really nicely using the charges as Ruthless Predator or Cole if he needs the extra heal or a 3-hit stun. Doing it nicely. Sometimes you get in there and you get a little crazy, you just start renektoning, slicing, dicing, QW, go, go, go. Not to mention 22 stacks for Levi. It's a pretty big boy right now.
His book is full of knowledge.
It's like, which part do you want to read?
The murder part.
Choose your own adventure is the way he's going right now, and it's been an awesome one for Gigabyte Marines. Game after game, Levi showing on Lee Sin, now on the Elise. And definitely something that I said, you know, it's going to be tough when they face either TSM or / Wolves. Definitely something either of those teams are going to have to look at for the jungle of the Gigabyte Marines. 20-8, the curtain is called. And the teleports are in. Pride onto Slay. Very nice damage to start things off. But they have the flash to the back line to keep things going. And that gives Stark a kill for himself. Taking out most of the damage now for Isurus Gaming. A 3v1 situation. Here's the rest of the team. Stark almost not going down before the team gets there. And look at the damage from Levi. Volatile Spiderling doing the rest of the work. Optimus playing off the ball. And they have been able to fight base and team. Triple kill for Levi. 13-0-6. Unheard of score.
Gigabyte Marines displaying their superiority over Group B with the Baron empowered minions are looking to go 5-0 in the group.
And looking to make the games faster, one after the next. QQ Moore, I'm gonna have a say in this one, but Levi's there, and Levi is just about 3 members of the team. Instantly exploding. Amp didn't have time to think about the situation, and he's just able to squeeze his way out as the Itsy Bitsy Spider stays alive for one more kill. 20 KDA right now.
That's insane. Levi is playing out of his mind right now. Level 14. Oh, fantastic performance.
20 out of 26 kills on the team.
Oh, yeah.
He has been a part of. Absolutely wild. When you're on fire, you're on fire. Oh, they're getting a little ahead of themselves. They think they can kill everything before it even falls. But I don't blame them at this point.
They still have 30 seconds left of their Baron. With the bond inhibitor down, they don't need macro anymore. They can just group and push. 17,000 gold lead.
See how they work this, and they're not breaking stride either. Stark stays towards the bottom. TP up or not, you can go around the horn from turret to turret very easy. There's no reason to give him the full 5v5 fight. Spread him thin, find one. QQ Moore gets taken out. Safely done, or I should say cleansed out. That's F getting taken out, and now they're into the base. Optimus throws down the Zanyas, but he's already done over 1,000 damage to 2 members of the team, and is even able to finish his food. He's not just playing with it. 30-11 now as they make their way onto the Nexus turret. Gigabyte Marines looking to go undefeated in Group B, and they're going to start by going all the way to 5-0 with one more to clean up the group.
We had a lot of shenanigans that game, Riv. From the level 1 play to the trading in the lane to culminating into one ultimate bloodbath, which the Gigabyte Marines were the creators of, getting themselves such a big advantage down in the bottom lane, time after time again, pitching that tent and then beating Kinless with it. Really strong performance. And overall, just a great fun game. 16-0-7 on Levi. That is definitely the scoreline that you want on an Elise.
He's going to have a smile on his face for the rest of this tournament, no matter what. Knowing you were able to show like this consistently in 2 games, and knowing this is what your team can do. This is what they will bring to the next stage. That's what Gigabyte Marines is riding high off of. Isurus Gaming coming in, the composition did not allow them to do anything against what we saw Gigabyte bring to the table.
I mean, when you have that kind of a lead, it doesn't matter what composition you have,
That
right?
too.
Like, they literally just steamrolled over them.
Yeah.
It was really good to see from the Gigabyte Marines. We saw some moments of brilliance from Isurus Gaming as well.
sure.
However, those are very short-lived, and once they fell behind, especially with the 2 towers taken in the bottom lane, they really could not do very much about it. Just demonstrating the individual prowess on the Gigabyte Marines, and why Levi is a jungler that you need to be afraid of.
Oh my word. Keeping the game, controlling the game, and pushing all their advantages forwards with really out taking a breath. We're going to send it over to the analysts to give us their thoughts on that bloody game.
Very, very bloody, Riv. Thank you very much. Gigabyte Marines, man, 5-0. I mean, they are cruising through the day here. They're going to feel very good moving into the games later this week. But within this game itself, we had questions around what would be their approach from both sides of the rift, right? How would they approach this game? And if we look at the champion side, it actually, on the outset, looks like Gigabyte Marines may have been setting up Isurus to run a Caitlyn, Ivern, Galio composition, almost to test whether or not they could run into it. Of course, the Jhin pick comes through on the second rotation, and some of that kind of falls apart. But having that Ashe Elise pick with the Lulu first pick on the other side kind of hinted towards maybe they were trying to test themselves almost.
It's something like that potentially. There's also like the weird missed bans where it felt like they were just like leaving stuff up for the sake of it. And
They weren't missed bans. They just
they didn't show up in
spectator
client?
delay.
Ah,
Sorry.
okay.
Yeah, Riv did mention that
yeah.
in the moment, but it was actually a Ziggs ban and a Rumble ban, as you can see there.
I was hoping that they were just like doing the scrim strat, because back
Right.
in the day when you were scrimming someone and it was early in the week, we would always just, leave everything up, see what they take, ban Ari, Aatrox, Annie, and then there you go. But apparently that was not the strategy they were going for. They had actual bans.
Absolutely. But the point still remains, right, where they in a sense, leaving up the Galio, which had been banned against Pride all week, right? Yet to see him play this champion. He gets it this time around. So once again, Gigabyte seems to be testing themselves.
And banning everything but the Galio, kind of just pushing him in that direction, saying you're
They
going
wanted
to have
it.
to
I
pick
think
your
they
best
wanted it.
champion.
That's
seems
what I'm
like
saying. It
5
seems
top
like
lands.
they were looking for it. Of course, everything goes out the window when Elise picks up 16 kills and runs over the game. Talk about Levi and being a playmaker for this squad. He shows up again here in this game and proves to us why he can be such an impactful player in the game. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of those big plays put together by Levi throughout this game on the Elise. There it goes.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about him being the most important player for this team coming into the tournament, and he's proving it here. Obviously, had a good start to the game where they were able to get that crazy level 1, and then he just ran around the map going lane to lane to lane, getting kills. And he already has his Sork shoes just 5 minutes into the game. You get to see this crazy burst come out, paired up with the Talia there, grabbing a couple kills around the mid lane, flashing out, making sure he stays alive too, despite going really aggressive. Wasn't getting overly sloppy. Even this dive here, relatively clean on the side of the Gigabyte Marines. There's something you want to see.
Yeah, look, there was a lot of damage coming out of him. Again, Rush's Sorcerer's Shoe, so knows exactly what he wants to achieve, gets a Dark Seal with it. And that happens to pay dividends for him because it quickly becomes a Magi's. And we're at that point in the game, where an Elise is fed, everyone gets one hit. But when he's this fed, everyone gets one hit every 10 seconds because he keeps going 1v3.
And again, I just have to say that if I am the Gigabyte Marines and I'm looking at setting myself up for the most success later in the week, now having proven myself on the Graves, Elise, and the Lee Sin as a jungler, when you talk about maybe going up against a weakness in TSM where Svenskeren is, if that's the matchup they're able to get, we really will be putting a microscope on that jungle matchup and seeing whether or not Levi can get the better of Svenskeren and start to open up the mid lane, against Bjergsen, for example, or go to the top lane for that, up against Haunter. Those are very strong solo laners that TSM has got in their arsenal.
Right, and I think that's the big thing is that what we've seen out of Levi so far is not that he's super dependent on one play style where it's like, oh, I just invade you over and over and I hope I get a solo kill. He's gotten advantages in CS and XP leads just through his farming and pathing. So he seems like a complete package here and plays a lot of different champions.
And I can tell you once again, we called him, the best jungler in the tournament if he's alive, but this is paying homage. He's known as the little version or the light version of SOFM who competes in the LPL. He's a Vietnamese jungler. So they play in the exact same way. And the reason I say that and what I mean is that he's often dead because he's aggressive,
Right.
because he focuses more on himself. So when you do look at these other junglers that he'll be promoting towards playing against. If they can pressure him when he comes in and he invades, which he will 100% of the time, then you can kill him and exploit the Gigabyte Marine.
Exactly. This time around, though, securing 16 kills in a singular game. Up until this point within the tournament, only 10 to his name. So matches that number and then surpasses it by more than half to hit that 16 mark. A very impressive performance by him. But back to your point here about the fact that maybe there are some exploitable elements to his gameplay. The Gigabyte Marines are going to have to find ways to win without him hitting these kinds of numbers too, right? And that's where we go back to these other members on the team and we say, if Levi is spending more of his time on the Rift dead, who is the next person to step up?
I think it's Optimus, obviously. And this game on the Talia, sure, it was not the most macro-focused game, so you didn't see him flying around the map, setting up well-coordinated team plays because there wasn't really an opportunity to.
Right.
But in all the skirmishes that broke out, I was actually really impressed with how he actually played them out. A lot of times making sure that his threaded volleys were lined up well to hit multiple targets and keep them kind of in his, like, aiming area. So he was able to pick up a lot of kills as well, and that's something that you want to see because a lot of Talias, yeah, you can make the map play and that kind of stuff, but being able to actually team fight well is very important.
And what's cool about Optimus, even past that, is his just mental imagery when he comes into a team fight, because he knows exactly who he wants to kill, and he will kill that person, or he will target the team's goals when it comes to the fights. You can throw back to the first game they had, dashing through an Orianna shockwave, dodging it to kill an AD carry. Like, very cerebral player.
Well, a dominant second game from the Gigabyte Marines for their second game of the day. We still got more games coming your way. When we return, it's Lion Gaming versus Virtus Pro. Don't touch that browser. You're watching the MSI Playlist.
It's always scary to be the last one out. Newbie should be the focus. Stark's actually trying to get other ones. No, he won't trade. Here comes the heal in from Slay. And they may do that to a few more members on this. Optimus working some more ground as Archie comes off the hit forward. And he bounces him back. Now it's Newbie in a 3v1. Now looking good. And here comes Levi once again. Oh, with a sliver of health. And getting taken out. And now they're into the base. Optimus throws down the Zanyas, but he's already done over 1,000 damage to 2 members of the team by going all the way to 5-0 with one more to clean up the group.